What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we are going to go over the bait technique, kind of what I was doing all summer long in my Thursday night tournaments. We had a bunch of people ask. I told everybody, once the summer is over, I'll do an in-depth video on it. In-depth video on what we've been doing all summer long. Yes, I am in my Broncos gear. It is a Sunday evening. The Broncos just won. This is actually, I'm filming this quite a few weeks early, but I know that it won't come out until after the tournaments are over anyway. So I figured we'd go ahead and film this, get this out of the way. What were we doing? So moral of the story was we were exploiting a bite that we accidentally discovered, and it just continued on throughout the summer. It isn't anything crazy. It isn't anything special. It was just a bite that we discovered that they stayed on. We found it in May. It was shortly after the spawn. We found it. It's just continued on. And the funny thing about it was, the only reason why I even grabbed these worms is because I had an entire evolution fishing bag of ribbon-tail worms, and I lost them. I lost all of them. I don't know where they went. I don't know if it flew out of my boat, if it flew, I don't know where it is. It's not my fishing room. It's not in the boathouse. I don't know where it is. I went to my fishing room upstairs in my office, and I was like, all right, what do I have to replace this ridiculous amount of ribbon tails that I just lost? I stumbled upon 12 bags of a worm that I had never opened. And it wasn't a traditional ribbon tail. This is something that I purchased for when I was in Florida fishing in grass. And this is how we actually discovered it. So without me talking anymore, because I know everybody's like, dude, just shut up and show us what it is. This is all it is. This is it's a Strike King bait. What is this thing called? A 10-inch thumper tail. That's all it is. What it's actually for is winding through grass. That's what it's for. This little tail down here, it kicks a little bit. It makes it look like something swimming, but it gives off a little bit of a bigger profile. So the reason why we grabbed it was because we were fishing submerged grass. The grass wasn't dying off yet, so that's why we were fishing grass. So we would actually go up into it, throw this thing out as far as we could, and then wind it back through that grass. Not super fast, but enough that I guess it looked like maybe a snake coming through there, or maybe a lamprey, or just a big worm of something. So it imitated something enough that these fish were like, oh hell, I gotta get a hold of that. And we caught the absolute piss out of them all summer long with this. Like I said, from May until pretty much the end of the year. Now, when I'm filming this, we still have 4 tournaments left, plus the Classics. So we just won a tournament. Last week we won. We had 7 something or another. We won by like 0.3, 0.4, something like that. But we won off of this exact technique. So let's get in depth with it. I don't have one rigged up currently because I snapped mine off last night in the middle of the night. So what are we going to be using? Of course, we're going to go with a angler tungsten. Wait a minute, I got one right there. All right, so this is my backup setup. This wasn't the exact color I'm using. We were using multiple colors, but this is what we were doing. We've got a 5/0 EWG spear point hook. You guys know I run exclusively spear point hooks now. We've got a 1/8 ounce angler tungsten weight there, one of the older ones, but it is an 1/8 ounce. We're running, this is 17-pound test line. And believe it or not, this is not what I've had the most success on. This is just a backup that I have in case I do snap my line or something like that. It's something just for me to easily pick up and grab. That way I don't have to sit down, get a weight out, get a hook out, re-rig the worm and everything. It's just easier this way to be able to just grab another rod. And then all we're doing is just Texas rigging the worm. Real basic Texas rig through the nose. I like to have enough worm on there to cover the knot. You know, just kind of a little bit of extra added protection on there. Then go through the body like so, and then expose it like this. And that's what your worm is going to look like. Yeah, there's a little bit of a bulge there, but guess what? The fish don't care. Contrary to what some Instagram and Facebook warriors want to tell you, the fish don't care. So this worm has been absolutely massacred. So what were the colors that we were using? So I don't know if a whole lot of people know this or not about Cherokee, but Cherokee loves the color purple. It is just a lake that loves purple. So we went with June bug was one of the big ones that we were always using. Let's see here. We've got green pumpkin for when the water got really, really clear. Then I added in Okeechobee crawl just to give them a little something different sometime, not always. And then, of course, I have to have a red bug. I can't go to any lake without some red bug in it, just because red bug is one of those baits that it gets bit. And ooh, that's not good. Where is my June bug? So here's my June bug that I apparently only have 2 worms left. Well, that is not good because we have done all of our damage on June bug the last 2 weeks. And yeah, I don't have any more. I have green pumpkin and Okeechobee crawl and June bug out the wazoo, but no more June bugs. So I'm gonna have to find some June bugs somewhere. That sucks. I actually got to support them now, but whatever. The worm's working, so I'm going to go and grab some more of these. And if you guys, you know, for those of you who don't know, after that comment, I'm not with Strike King anymore. We had a whatever. I don't work for them anymore. So I'm just using all of the free crap that I had left. And then the stuff that I'm buying is just all kinds of new stuff. I'm getting all kinds of new, good, cool stuff that I'm enjoying using. But we are going to have to get some more June bugs of those. So let's talk about the rod, the reel combo, and line. I don't know if I really mentioned line. This is something that I don't know if I'm going to put in here that you all saw me look at my phone, but I can finally tell you guys about. This is something that you all have definitely seen on the channel. I've made some small comments about and all that stuff, but let's take an actual look at it. Not like this isn't going to be a whole in-depth video on it, but here it is, the Angler Tungsten Melee Series rod. Yes, it is official. It is here. By the time you are seeing this, I don't know if they're available yet or if they're up for pre-order. I'm not sure when this video is going to come out versus when pre-order versus availability is going to happen. But they are here. They are official. Manning and I have been product testing these since April. So whenever you're seeing this video is probably coming out like October. Beginning of October, I'd say. We've been prototyping these since April, and we gave the go-ahead back in July, I believe, something like that. Anyway, we gave the go-ahead on these. So the rod, I bet you guys can guess it. 7 foot 3 inch medium heavy fast action rod. You guys know this is my do-all rod. This is a multi-purpose. It does everything for me. I wanted to have, like, this was the #1 rod that I built. Right off the bat, I told Manning, I said, this is the first rod we have to design. 7.3 medium heavy fast, because if you want me to be able to promote the absolute living far out of a rod, that rod does more for me than any other rod combined. So that was the rod that we did. We've got the EVA foam grips. Notice I am covering something right here. It's because the logo's jacked up, and I don't want y'all to see how jacked up it is. But there, you know, just so you know, I'm not BSing. There's the AT logo. They just really jacked it up. Then the reel, this is just a Gen 1 Hypermag. I had it laying around. It wasn't doing anything, so I hadn't sold it yet. I decided to slap it on here. This is 12-pound fluorocarbon. And I know when we talk about worm fishing, most of the time we're talking 14, 15, 17, 20, 25-pound line. You know, when you're really into a lot of nasty, nasty grass, wood, whatever. The 13 Fishing Modus SZ2, the purple reel that you all saw a couple weeks ago, might have been more than a couple weeks ago. I thought I had 17-pound line for it, but I actually didn't. I only had 12-pound line for it. So I put 12-pound line on it. And Cody, my brother-in-law, fishing the exact same baits as me, exact same way as me, had 17-pound line. I was getting 5 bites to his 1. Now, did it really make a difference with the line? I don't know. But let me tell you, that's a coincidence that you were getting that many more bites compared to his with a different line diameter. I think it made a difference. So I went with 12-pound line. Fluorocarbon, it just eliminates stretch and whatnot. It allows for a little bit more, I get a little bit better of a hook set. That 5/0 hook, I'm trying to think, what else do we got? Okay, so where was I fishing this? So it varied throughout the year. I'm gonna grab you all because that was hurting my shoulder the way I was sitting like that. So it varied throughout the year where we were fishing and what we were fishing. We would always try to make sure that we were around the most fish possible. And I know that you're like, oh, no crap, idiot. Yeah, I know, I get it. But we had certain areas that we would go to that would be anywhere from 8 to 14 degrees cooler water than where everybody else was and where the tournament was going out of. So the first time that we discovered this, well, I actually discovered it last year when I was fishing with Fuzz. We would go up to a couple spots that when we would take off, the water temperature was like 90. We would get up to this area and we would see like 80, 81, 82. It's like, that's kind of a large difference to be able to not notice, right? And we were catching fish. So this year, Cody and I were like, well, let's replicate that. Let's see if we can't make the same thing happen. So we ran to our areas of where we were, and we would find grass. We would find certain wood. Like there were just certain things that we were looking for that would play along the main creek channel, but was still bringing in enough cool water. So it was just a very unique little bite that we found. And then craziest thing, we still can't really figure out why this was happening. I really can't put a finger on it. And I can't, like, I would say it's just a coincidence, but the fact that it happened 6 weeks in a row is crazy. 6 weeks in a row between 8:45 and 9 o'clock, I could flip a tree. And this isn't like one special tree. It was just a tree in this area, and I could catch a 3 to 4 pounder. Every time for 6 weeks in a row, I did this. The 1 week, we only had 1 fish. We came in, I walked up to Cody Absher, the guy that runs it. I had 1 fish. I was like, hey, what's big fish? And I knew mine was probably about 3.5, 4 pounds. It's like 490. I was like, shoot, threw that one back. Next week we came up, I caught a 3.5, and we had 1 other fish with it that was like a 2.5, 3. No, it was like a 3 because we had 6.5, almost 7. We took second place that week. We took multiple second place finishes with only 2 fish, but for whatever reason, I could catch a big fish between 8:45 and 9 o'clock. Now, the streak may continue even further. I don't know, because like I said, we got 4 weeks left when I'm filming this video compared to when this is coming out. So I'm not real sure how many more times it'll happen, but it's happening. So that was kind of what we were going off of, was I could get that bite off of those trees that were right up against the creek channel, and the water temperature was significantly cooler. At one point, I talked to a couple guys at the boat ramp. They were fishing in like 88-degree water temperature, and we were fishing in 74. Big difference, y'all. Big difference. And not only does it affect the fish, but it affects how you get to fish. You know, if we're up there fishing 88, you know, you're gonna have to really slow down, probably go deeper. And I think the one part that I've left out so far, we never fished deeper than 6 feet all summer. There was one time, that's actually a lie, we didn't do any good, But we did fish a brush pile in like 14 feet of water, loaded with fish, but I could only catch a bunch of slicks off of it. So we did fish out in some deeper stuff, but it never produced for us. All of our checks, all of our good fish came in less than 6 feet of water all summer long. That was from April when we started, when they were spawning, still spawning a little bit into May, all the way through June, July, August, and now into September. We're still fishing in less than 6 feet of water. There's an old saying of, there's a population, or most of the fish go deep, but there's a small population that always stays shallow. And I'm a firm believer in that, because you guys got to remember, I'm from Florida. You know, 14 feet of water in Florida, holy cow, that's pretty deep. You know, Lake Okeechobee, I'm used to fishing 2 to 5 feet of water. Like that's my buttery zone. Like that's what I like to fish. So when we discovered that bite, I was right at home. Cody, my brother-in-law Cody, loves doing that kind of stuff. He's finally really confident in a worm. He's all excited about it. But that's what we did pretty much all summer long. We threw this big old worm. Like I said, there's the purple one. Angler tungsten, 1/8 ounce combat series of weight, spear point 5/0 EWG hook, 12-pound fluorocarbon, the Angler tungsten Melee series of rods. We just absolutely wrecked them on that, y'all. We had a blast. That's what we did all of our damage on. Now, you know, if I could have strung together 3 fish every night, we probably would have won a lot more tournaments. But I struggled there for a while, being able to catch 3 fish that kept. We would have nights we would catch 20 fish, and they were all 13, 14 inches. We couldn't get anything over 15. But it is what it is, guys. So like I said, I told everybody that I would do this video and let everybody know what we were, kind of what we were doing, because I didn't want to let it out. I told Fuzz, and I think I told maybe 1 or 2 other guys what we were doing, but I didn't really want to let it out a whole lot, because it was such a small area that we were fishing anyway. I didn't want it to get overcrowded, and there were a couple guys that they would see us, so they knew where we were. Thankfully, they were cool about it, and they never came in hot on us. We had 1 or 2 guys that did, but they never caught anything, so it wasn't a big deal. Most of the time, we had already hit it. But that was our summer. Hopefully, I'm gonna have another video for you guys of a Thursday nighter. Originally, we were gonna have the classic for you guys, but it alternated this year to a nighttime tournament. So it's gonna be a 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Y'all aren't gonna get to see majority of that tournament. So unless we catch a bulk of our fish before it gets dark at 8 in October, you're probably not going to see that video, unfortunately. But we'll do our best, see what we can do. We'll, if we have to spotlight something to in the bottom of the boat for y'all to see catches, I don't know. We'll figure something out if we're just doing a crazy thing there for the classic. Guys, if y'all like this video, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know where y'all are watching from. Let me know how Cherokee's been to you if you've been fishing Cherokee. And we will see you guys out on the water.